Hollywood, where aspirations soar and destinies unravel. Behind the glitz and glamour lies a sobering reality. Stardom comes with a profound cost. Substance dependency has shadowed Tinseltown for decades, transforming icons into cautionary tales. From Marilyn Monroe to Heath Ledger, luminaries who captivated audiences found themselves consumed by their struggles. This isn't merely a chronicle of the fallen, it's a stark reminder of how brilliant spotlights can cast the deepest shadows. But before starting this video, please subscribe to the channel and like it. This will help develop the channel. Number 1. Elvis Presley, the monarch who fell from grace. He was the sovereign of rock and roll, a cultural phenomenon, an artist who revolutionized music forever. But when Elvis Presley's life ended, he wasn't performing, he wasn't creating. He was alone in the bathroom of Graceland. That's the harsh reality they didn't want you to discover. On August 16th, 1977, the world stopped. Elvis was just 42, and the official cause, cardiac arrhythmia. But that was only part of the narrative. Behind the velvet curtains of Graceland, Elvis had become trapped by his own legend and by the mountains of prescription medications sustaining him. While fans saw a larger-than-life icon, those closest witnessed a deteriorating man dependent, unwell, paranoid. His medicine cabinet wasn't a cabinet at all. It was a pharmaceutical collection. Barbiturates, Quaaludes, Demerol, Valium, codeine, dozens of medications for discomfort, for rest, for digestion, for vitality, most of them prescribed in alarming quantities. The reality: Elvis didn't pass from a single incident. He succumbed to years of chemical dependency covered up by physicians, management, and even family. They wanted to preserve the king's image, even as it destroyed him internally. His body was deteriorating. He suffered from chronic digestive issues so severe they became life-threatening. Diabetes, glaucoma. He couldn't perform without being medicated into numbness, but the same medications were harming him progressively. When he collapsed in the bathroom that morning, it wasn't sudden. It was the final chapter in a prolonged, tragic decline. A monarch alone, surrounded by secrets and silence. And yet, the myth endures. We remember the jumpsuits, the devoted fans, the signature style. But behind the legend was a person crying for help, with no one willing to stop the machine. Elvis didn't just experience heart failure. He was consumed by being Elvis Presley. Number 2. Cory Monteith, the star who couldn't sing away the anguish. To the world, he was the golden boy of Glee, the charming athlete with an infectious smile and genuine warmth. But behind that lovable Finn Hudson was a young man quietly struggling. Cory Monteith's battle with dependency didn't begin in Hollywood. It started in childhood. By 13, he was consuming alcohol. By 16, he was experimenting with harmful substances. By 19, he dropped out of school and entered treatment for the first time. But fame has a cruel way of masking deep wounds. When Glee launched him to global stardom, the world saw the star, not the struggle. He tried to stay clean. He spoke openly about his past. He checked into treatment again in 2013, supported by his partner and co-star Lea Michele. It looked like a turning point, but dependency doesn't play fair. Just weeks after finishing treatment, Cory flew to Vancouver, the city where his challenges had always felt closest. On July 13, 2013, he was found unresponsive in his hotel room. The autopsy revealed a toxic combination of harmful substances and alcohol. He was 31. The tragedy devastated everyone. Fans were shocked. The Glee cast was shattered. Lea was heartbroken. How could someone so beloved, so talented, so kind be gone just like that? The cruel twist: Cory's body may have betrayed him. Experts believe that after sobriety, tolerance drops. When Cory relapsed, his body couldn't handle the same amount, and it proved fatal. But more than that, misunderstanding contributed to his passing. Cory didn't fit stereotypes. He was successful, warm, clean-cut, and that's the dangerous misconception we perpetuate, that dependency has a specific appearance. It doesn't. It hides behind smiles, inside hotel rooms, beneath polished red carpets. Cory Monteith didn't pass because he was careless. He passed because he was hurting, and because society doesn't teach us how to survive when your past keeps following you even under the spotlight. Number 3. John Belushi. The comedic force that blazed intensely. He was energetic. He was electric. He was relentless until he wasn't. John Belushi wasn't just humorous. He was a phenomenon, a walking explosion of energy, passion, and chaos that left audiences breathless with laughter. From Saturday Night Live to the Blues Brothers, Belushi didn't just entertain, he consumed every stage he touched. But behind the madness was a person unraveling. At the height of his fame, substances flowed freely. According to Vanity Fair, during the Blues Brothers production, certain expenses were so common, they appeared in the budget. By the time he was filming Neighbors, Belushi was spiraling so severely that crew members had to physically support him off camera just to keep him functional. The celebrations never stopped. The nights never ended, and the darkness kept intensifying. In New York, during his final months, Belushi vanished into a blur of all-night binges, exclusive rooms, and desperate escapes. He was lost in a world that consumed stars and discarded them. Just 5 days before his passing, photographer Marcia Resnick met with him for what would become his last photo session. He seemed distant, exhausted, fading. Then came March 5th, 1982. Belushi was found lifeless in Bungalow 3 at the Chateau Marmont in West Hollywood, the same hotel where legends once stayed and now where one had fallen. The cause, a lethal combination of harmful substances. He was just 33. In the aftermath, the world mourned. Friends were devastated. Fans were stunned. The laughter stopped. John Belushi's passing wasn't just another tragedy in Hollywood. It was a wake-up call, a brutal reminder that fame, no matter how bright, can never fill the void inside. He burned like a supernova, brilliant, fast, and gone far too soon. Number 4. Chris Farley, the comedian who couldn't escape the darkness. Chris Farley illuminated every room he entered. A human force of laughter, energy, and fearless comedy. He was loud, he was wild, he was unforgettable. But what the world saw as hilarious chaos was often a cry for help. Farley wasn't just playing the part of the out-of-control guy. He embodied it. Behind the scenes, he was locked in a brutal war with dependency substances of all kinds. He tried to fight back. From Lorne Michaels to David Spade to Tom Arnold, they all knew he was slipping. Studios even mandated sobriety contracts, monitoring his every move while on set. But as soon as the cameras stopped rolling, so did his control. For a moment, it looked like he might turn things around. He had just wrapped filming Almost Heroes, was cast as the original voice of Shrek, and even spoke of Christmas plans. His friend recalled he was attending services, smiling more, feeling hopeful. Then came December 14th, 1997. Chris went on a 4-day binge of alcohol and substances. On the final night, he was with someone who later admitted to stealing from him and leaving as he collapsed on the floor. His final words, "Don't leave me." On December 18th, his brother John found him unresponsive in their Chicago apartment. He was 33, the same age as his idol, John Belushi, when he passed from similar circumstances. Toxicology reports found multiple harmful substances in his system. His heart, already compromised by years of abuse, simply gave out. Chris Farley didn't pass because he wanted to. He succumbed because dependency deceived him. Told him he'd be fine. Told him he was alone. Told him this pain would pass, but it didn't. And now the world is left remembering someone who made us laugh while silently drowning in anguish. Number 5. Judy Garland, the girl who never got to go home. She sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow, but never found peace on this side of it. Judy Garland wasn't just a star. She was magic, America's sweetheart, the voice of a generation. But behind those sparkling eyes and radiant smile was a child crushed under the weight of fame. By the time she was 13, Judy was already a workhorse at MGM. Studio executives didn't just control her career. They controlled her body, her food, her rest, her mind. Want to stay thin? Take these medications. Need to keep going? Take those. Need to rest? They called them pep pills. She called them survival. During the filming of The Wizard of Oz, she was just 16, forced to work grueling hours under brutal pressure, all while being medicated to keep her going. Her diet consisted of chicken soup, black coffee, and stimulants. Her downtime included sedatives. Hollywood didn't raise her, it exploited her. She matured, but the dependency grew with her. The medications didn't stop. Neither did the expectations. Judy became a mother, a wife, a divorced wife, and always a performer. She struggled with mental health, chronic exhaustion, and a haunting sense of never being enough. Her once bright career dimmed as her personal chaos spilled into the spotlight. Tardiness, breakdowns, hospital stays. By the late 1960 seconds, she was barely holding on, performing in small clubs, underpaid, over-medicated, and completely drained. On June 26, 1969, just 12 days after her 47th birthday, Judy Garland was found unresponsive in a London bathroom. Cause: barbiturate toxicity. Officially, it was ruled accidental, but in truth, it was the slow, methodical destruction of a vulnerable soul by a system that glamorized her while silently breaking her. Judy Garland's story isn't just tragic, it's infuriating. She was a girl thrown to the wolves before she ever had a chance to be a child. A woman who gave the world her voice and passed without anyone truly hearing her cries. She never made it home. Number 6, River Phoenix. The boy who burned too bright too fast. He had the face of an angel and the soul of a rebel. River Phoenix wasn't just Hollywood's next big thing. He was different. A vegan, an activist, a poet in a rock star's body. He didn't play the role of the tortured youth. He embodied it. And when he passed, the world lost more than a rising star. It lost a generation's hope. October 31st, 1993. The Viper Room, West Hollywood. River, just 23, steps outside the club, trembling. Minutes later, he collapses on the sidewalk, convulsing in front of his younger brother, Joaquin, and his girlfriend, actress Samantha Mathis. He's rushed to the hospital. He doesn't make it. The cause: acute multiple substance intoxication. Harmful substances combined in a fatal speedball. It didn't make sense. River wasn't supposed to be this person. He didn't party, he didn't go to treatment centers, he preached clean living and avoided the Hollywood toxicity. But somewhere in the shadows, something changed. In the days leading up to his passing, close friend and Red Hot Chili Peppers guitarist John Frusciante later admitted they were on a days-long binge, no rest, no food. A spiral so fast and so quiet that no one saw it coming until it was too late. His passing rocked Hollywood. River wasn't another tabloid tragedy. He was the future in artists like Brando, Dean, DiCaprio before DiCaprio. He turned down blockbusters, favored indie films, and carried a raw emotional depth that made you believe every line he spoke. He had it all and wanted none of the fakeness. But like so many before him, the pressure, the expectation, the weight of being different became too much. He passed outside a club owned by Johnny Depp. He passed in front of the people who loved him most. He passed because for just one night, he let the darkness in, and it never let go. River Phoenix's passing wasn't about substances. It was about vulnerability, about a young man who didn't belong in the machine trying to survive it anyway. He didn't fade. He flashed brilliant and brief, and left behind a light that still haunts the world he left too soon. Number 7, Heath Ledger. The Joker who couldn't find peace anymore. He gave us one of the greatest performances in cinema history, and it consumed him. Heath Ledger didn't just play the Joker. He became him. Twisted, brilliant, unhinged. A role so dark, so consuming, it blurred the line between art and reality. But even before The Dark Knight, Heath was already fighting internal battles the public couldn't see. Fame had come fast. 10 Things I Hate About You, A Knight's Tale, Brokeback Mountain. But with the praise came pressure, anxiety, insomnia, a mind that wouldn't shut off, a body that couldn't rest. He once said he was lucky to get 2 hours of sleep a night. To cope, he turned to medications, pain relievers, sleeping aids, anti-anxiety prescriptions, a cocktail of silence for a storm that never stopped. In 2007, his relationship with Michelle Williams, the mother of his daughter Matilda, ended. Friends say he was devastated, withdrawn, obsessed with his craft, but slipping further from reality. On January 22, 2008, Heath was found unresponsive in his New York apartment by his housekeeper and a massage therapist. Paramedics arrived, but it was too late. Heath Ledger was gone at 28. The toxicology report revealed 6 prescription medications in his system, including oxycodone, hydrocodone, diazepam, temazepam, and doxylamine. All legal, all lethal when combined. Official cause: accidental toxicity. But was it really an accident? Or just the inevitable collapse of someone crushed under the weight of genius? His posthumous Oscar for The Dark Knight felt like both a triumph and a funeral. We applauded the performance while ignoring the pain that created it. Heath didn't pass chasing a high. He passed trying to rest, trying to escape a mind that was too fast, too deep, too loud. His friends said he was unwell, exhausted, haunted. And yet he gave everything until there was nothing left. We remember the makeup, the laughter, the chaos of the Joker. But the real tragedy is that when the camera stopped rolling, no one was there to tell Heath Ledger he could stop performing. Number 8, Marilyn Monroe, the goddess who passed alone. She was the ultimate American icon. The blonde bombshell, the breathy voice, the smile that could stop time. But behind the red lips and white dress, Marilyn Monroe was quietly falling apart. She wasn't just a symbol. She was a woman in pain. Born Norma Jean, abandoned by her father, and raised in foster homes, Marilyn spent her entire life searching for love, stability, and peace. Hollywood gave her fame, but never safety. And when the world saw a fantasy, Marilyn lived a nightmare. Her days were filled with cameras and chaos. Her nights, loneliness, insomnia, and pills. Barbiturates to rest, amphetamines to wake up, alcohol to quiet the noise. A daily chemical balancing act, one that was always teetering. By the 1,960 seconds, her image was unstoppable, but her personal life was crumbling. Failed marriages, public scrutiny, mental health spiraling. She was reportedly fired from her last film for being unreliable, but no one asked why she couldn't function. She didn't want to leave. She just wanted the pain to stop. On August 5th, 1962, Marilyn was found lifeless in her Los Angeles home. She was 36. The official cause: barbiturate toxicity. But theories ran wild. Was it accidental? Was it political? Was it preventable? What we do know is this: Marilyn Monroe didn't suffer this fate because she was weak. She suffered because she was exhausted from pretending, performing, and carrying the unbearable weight of being Marilyn Monroe. She once said, "Fame doesn't fulfill you. It warms you a bit, but that warmth is temporary." Her passing joined a tragic club: Judy Garland, Margaret Sullivan, women broken by fame and dulled by prescriptions. Marilyn didn't perish from glamour. She perished from a world that loved her image, but never loved her. Number 9, Philip Seymour Hoffman, the genius who couldn't escape himself. He was one of the greatest actors of his generation, a master of nuance, depth, and darkness. Philip Seymour Hoffman didn't just play broken men, he understood them, because behind every Oscar, every standing ovation, was someone quietly battling a monster he couldn't outrun. From Capote to the Master, Hoffman vanished into every role. He could make you laugh, ache, recoil, and weep, often in the same scene. But off camera, he fought a very different war: dependency. Hoffman first struggled with substance issues in his early 20s, eventually getting clean and staying sober for over 20 years. Then came the relapse. In 2012, after decades of sobriety, he started consuming alcohol again, and then harder substances. By 2014, it had taken over. Friends saw the change. He looked tired, lost, fading. On February 2nd, 2014, Philip was found unresponsive in his New York apartment, a syringe still in his arm. The scene was horrifying. 50 bags of harmful substances, used and unused, needles, prescription bottles, and a burned spoon. The toxicology report confirmed a lethal mix of multiple substances, including fentanyl. He was 46. To the public, the news was unthinkable. Not Hoffman, not the brilliant, thoughtful private artist. Not the man who once said, "If I don't stop, I'm going to perish." But dependency doesn't care how smart you are, how loved, or how talented. It doesn't care if you've won an Oscar or if you're a father of 3. It just wants more. Hoffman knew the risks. He tried to get help. He even had medication in his apartment to manage his condition. But it wasn't enough. What ended Hoffman's life wasn't just the substances. It was silence, shame, the idea that admitting relapse meant failure. But relapse is part of recovery. And the more we ignore that, the more we lose the ones we can't replace. Philip Seymour Hoffman gave everything to his craft. But in the end, no one could play the part of saving him, not even himself. Number 10, Anna Nicole Smith, the bombshell who broke under the spotlight. She was blonde, bold, and built like a fantasy. Anna Nicole Smith didn't just turn heads, she stopped time. A Playboy playmate turned reality TV queen, she lived loud, laughed louder, and became a walking headline. But fame for her was never glamorous. It was a ticking time bomb. In the 90 seconds, she became a tabloid sensation, not just for her curves, but for her scandalous marriage to 9-year-old oil tycoon J. Howard Marshall. After his passing, a bitter legal battle over his fortune made her a national punchline. But behind the headlines was a woman quietly unraveling. The truth. Anna was already deep in dependency on prescription medications. It began in her early 22nd after cosmetic surgery. According to friends, she quickly became dependent on pain relievers like Vicodin, Lortabs, and muscle relaxers. Add Valium and Xanax to the mix, and she was riding a chemical roller coaster, trying to numb pain the world couldn't see. Her reality show may have brought laughs, but insiders saw the cracked, slurred speech, erratic behavior, blackouts. By the early 2000s, Anna wasn't just dependent, she was trapped. The glamorous blonde bombshell had become a tragic figure, chasing comfort in bottles while pretending everything was fine. Then came the most crushing blow, the loss of her 20-year-old son, Daniel, in 2006. Less than 5 months later, on February 8, 2007, she was found unresponsive in a Florida hotel room. Despite desperate attempts to revive her, she was pronounced gone that afternoon. Cause: accidental toxicity from a lethal cocktail of sleeping pills, anti-anxiety medications, and pain relievers. She was 39. Anna Nicole Smith wasn't just a punchline. She was a woman broken by fame, grief, and a system that consumes beauty and discards it when the cameras stop rolling. She wanted love. She wanted peace. But Hollywood only gave her noise. And in the end, she passed the way she lived under the harsh light of public judgment, searching for silence. Number 11, Brad Renfro, Hollywood's lost boy. He was supposed to be the next big thing. At just 11 years old, Brad Renfro exploded onto the screen in The Client, holding his own alongside Tommy Lee Jones and Susan Sarandon. He wasn't trained, he wasn't polished, but he was real, raw, unfiltered. You didn't watch Brad, you felt him. But the industry that crowned him never protected him. Fame hit fast, too fast. By 15, he was consuming alcohol, smoking, experimenting. By 18, he was arrested. Harmful substances crept into his life like a slow whisper, one he couldn't silence. The headlines followed: treatment, relapse, petty offenses, probation. Hollywood had forgotten about him, but the pain never forgot. Friends said he wanted to get clean. He still auditioned, still believed he had one last comeback in him. But on January 15th, 2008, Brad was found unresponsive in his Los Angeles apartment. He was just 25. The cause: fatal toxicity from harmful substances. He passed 4 years younger than the character he played in The Client. There was no media frenzy, no outpouring of tribute, just a quiet end for a kid who once lit up the screen. Brad Renfro's story isn't glamorous. It's not cinematic. It's tragic, and it's far too common. Which of these stories resonated with you the most? If you found value in this tribute, please share your thoughts. It helps keep the memory of these stars alive. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe and like it. It really helps with channel promotion.